get folks updates.
What would be the cost of the hobby breeder license?
I believe that was
Same.
50 as well. 50, yeah.
Everything's the same.
Annual basis, $50 on an annual basis.
I mean, when things become more expensive for you, if you don't follow the rules, so to speak, are the fines.
Yeah, one of the things that we built into the non-commercial, to go back to your question and what I was blathering on about internalizing costs, one of the things that we've built into the non-commercial breeder, and you'll see also, the folks that were here, you remember our discussion about the nuisance and aggressive dog designations, and it exists right now in the dangerous dog designations. There's an escalating fine schedule associated with additional violations of those laws. So we've got that built into the commercial as well.
Right.
That, excuse me, the non-commercial.
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 I mean, all these things that are not responsible behavior cost us all the time, in terms of intake.
Yeah, generally speaking, what we've tried to do in all the different sections where we can is if we can either put in a new benefit for licensing your pet, we've done that. If we can discourage not licensing your pet, we've done that too. So we try to come at it from both ways, just to.
And I think really, Chris, the beauty of the thing with the non-commercial is if you are a responsible person and you choose to do something, because you like the breed, et cetera, we're not going to penalize you. We don't want to do that. But we don't need people that keep doing it, that bring us 6 to 8 puppies every 3-4 months. That's the problem. So we need to control, at some point we need to make it really prohibitive to keep doing that, because that's irresponsible and completely, that's bad for the dogs as well.
And
Humane.
irresponsibility aside, you're imposing a cost on the rest of Houstonians that are either responsible pet owners and pay taxes, or they don't own pets at all.
Yeah.
But they've got to pay through their taxes for the cost of somebody that doesn't care, essentially. And that's not appropriate.
And at this point, it hasn't tapered off, we're still getting animals in at the same pace, no matter what time of year it is. It used to get a little break during the winter time, but it just still keeps coming. There's been no break,
A little break in December.
I think that
Got a little break in December.
Yeah, that wouldn't burn my mother
what we
though.
got here, I think, speaks very well to the city of Houston. And where we'll go. There's one or two things that may need to be tweaked, but I think overall, you've done a good job.
Well, thank you. And I've been involved in more ordinance revisions than I'd like to. This is the product that we have right now has been improved the most of any revision that I've been involved in because of the stakeholders that we got involved. And there's no doubt about it. And that's a credit to you all in the room and the folks that aren't here right now or haven't even been able to join us in person but have communicated to us about it. This is definitely a much more improved product than we had at our first meeting. And that's because we had so many people engaged on this in a really productive way. So the thanks really goes to you all because you've done a lot of hard work for this too. So if there aren't any further questions, we can still take questions, but let me just say to everybody, if you see something that you either have an additional question about or you would like to suggest a tweak to, please send that to us. I'll act as the single point of contact and distribute it out to everybody that needs to see it. Everybody in the room and then our attorney that's actually turning this into legal language for us. You can use my email address, which is Christopher, spelled the traditional way.
Is there something in there?
Christopher dot Newport, spelled like the beach, at HoustonTX.gov. Yeah, thank you, Alex. It's also in the invitation that was emailed out. I think it was in the press release and It's all over the place.
He's everywhere.
Anything else?
Just a quick question and a comment. You mentioned earlier, which is very understandable, you didn't want to impose, thinking about imposing mandatory spay and neutering now because potentially would affect a lot of people that could not otherwise afford to have their pets spayed and neutered. On the same kind of way of thinking, what about the city license fee itself? Do you think perhaps maybe, I know there's exceptions to the fee for some individuals, but maybe on the general broad scope that perhaps for the spayed and neutered pets, perhaps $20 a year is somewhat unreasonable, or not saying it is for everybody, but
I don't
just
think so.
across the board.
I don't think so, but I think we do need to make
If you have
adequate provisions for folks that, say you're getting needs assistance, you're getting income assistance. We need to provide, we don't need to turn those people into lawbreakers just because they can't afford it. So we need to provide a mechanism for those folks, and we've done that.
Yep.
Same thing for, we have an existing provision that relates to seniors. So outside of that, if you don't have a demonstrated income issue, I think $20 is a.
We're kind of like in the middle, you know, all across the country.
Yeah, and I've seen
Higher,
that,
not
yeah.
low.
I've seen
Actually,
lower.
sorry, I should have let that off from the top, right? We
Yeah.
benchmarked the fee, and it's, when you look at what other jurisdictions charge for this type of thing, it's reasonable.
I mean, there's no way we're going to recoup, you know, if you're thinking it's going to be self-liquidating or something.
Well, no, but it's kind of like you said, some people will pay it, they'll never use it, so they may be thinking, well, I always take care of my pet, it's not going to get used in the streets, why should I get my license? Because the chances of it getting out are probably almost nil.
And I think, you're right, and I think if we, whatever we do, market this, if we only advertise this as a way to be reunited with your pet, I know, for instance, that cat owners that always keep their cats indoors are going to shrug their shoulders if we did that. But I think we also position it as a very real way to help buy a couple of animals. I think folks will respond to that. And if they don't, that's just an ongoing conversation that we need to have. And if we need to modify the way that we pitch it, then that's what we have to do. But I don't think a $20, one of the things, a good opportunity to point out that we changed the basis that you used to have to give us your the renewal period. You had to do it every year regardless of it was basically relying on the old practice of rabies shots were given every year. Well, that changed. Same one as, I think that's shit. I mean, it's been.
That's probably at least 10 years ago.
It's been a while, right? So we modified that in the provision so that it can track with the frequency of the vaccination itself.
So now maybe licensing can be done every 3 years with a rabies shots every 3 years, I suppose every year.
What we did is we pegged it to the vaccination that was issued by the vet, which is on the vaccination forms. So if it was a 1 year and you didn't come back for I don't think booster is the right term, right, but was it a 1 year vaccine or was it a 3 year vaccine? The certificate tells us what it was. That's the license. That's the term that you get this license.
I mean, I just thought that perhaps if there's maybe a little adjustment, because to me it seems like there's probably a lot of pet owners that don't license them. And maybe the $20 is an issue, maybe it's not, maybe it's just the having to go out and fill out the paperwork and getting all that done.
We think it's primarily an awareness issue.
And that's the other issue, yeah. But it sure would be nice to get more people registered, even if it would be a less fee, because I think it would bring more money in the BARC, whether we get 10 people at $20 or 30 people at $10. I think I would rather get 30 people at $10 than 10 people at 20.
What's the fee for somebody who installed the spay and neuter?
Is?
One,
It's $20 for, it's referred to as an altered pet license.
yes.
That's $20 and it's $60 for an altered pet
So there's a benefit right there.
license. And that differential is important.
All of them.
So if you get a 3-year, if your dog is on a 3-year rabies schedule, then do you pay 60 times 3 every time you get a license? Is that how it?
I'm gonna ask to call a friend because I fear that I've been at the office too long.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
remember.
Yes. Yeah, because I can remember a while, the thing that always stands out in my mind is that when we had Mayor White, he said you can get a subscription to Ladies Home Journal for 3 years, but you can't get a license in the city of Houston except for more than 1 year at a time. So we'll do it. We'll charge you the 60. I mean, why should we inconvenience you? It should be triggered based upon what the vet's activities entail. So if the vet says it's good for 3 years, then so be it.
So it would be 60 for
Yes, ma'am.
unaltered?
Yeah.
But you only have to, transaction one time. Correct? Which I think we just covered.
Chris, can the fee schedule be amended independently of the chapter 6, if these fees?
Yeah.
So I mean, we wouldn't need to amend the fees necessarily aren't quite as important as the material that's in chapter 6, correct?
Okay.
What'd you say at the end of that, Jackson?
The fee schedule can be amended independently of this, so even if we go ahead with the chapter 6, we can still argue the fees.
Well, yeah, as Chris has intimated, we're thinking about another business model anyway, so we'll come back once we get that worked out. Because it'll be something that will be of a premium in nature because it's going to offer you a better product, if you will.
What else do we want to talk about? Sam, are you good from the questions that you had earlier?
Yeah.
When I talk offline?
Because Chris, we're about 20 till 8 now, sir.
One once.
Sold.
Hey. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, before.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm just as bad as you, I served in the. No, I was gonna ask, so I'm right, it's my day. I show, it's not that I'm very good at what I do, but operation, so just. In many ways,
Guys, can I have your attention just one more time?
I guess I should ask you.
Just for maybe 30 more seconds. Whenever, we'll let you know when this is going to go before council committee, and then when it goes whenever the mayor places it on agenda. It is always helpful to the folks in craft when they're really very stellar recommendations. But more importantly to the council members when they're making decisions, to hear from
No, we taking
folks that care about the issue. So that can be either, what I'm saying is, if you support the issue, if you support the recommendations, or if you'd like to suggest some improvements in the recommendations, please consider shooting an email to your council member, coming to public session and talking about the process that we've gone through, such as transfer, all those things. It will prompt you with.
Yeah.
And it's automatic.
I have a question.
Let's say you're coming to the dock.
Is the BARC place up 59?
Yes, ma'am.
Developed?
We're just south of Midland Park. You get on 59, you're going to exit Collingsworth.
Yeah, okay. Barbara Harris used to work there.
Yes,
She's still there? Gone?
she's gone. She retired.
Okay, because she used to come over to my shop. And I heard you say, if a person wants a kennel license, can they come there? And it's how much?
Right now it's 200. But once we're finished with this, and hopefully it gets accepted, it's going to be $50.
$50.
We're not going to regulate you, okay? We're not coming out to inspect your facility. We're not going to do that.
Well, I know.
We're relying on you to be a good citizen,
Right.
to maintain sanitary conditions,
Right.
pest control, so on and so forth.
Not Ken, what was his name? He used to come out every year to my place. And then he disappeared,
Jeffrey
everybody
Hastings.
disappeared.
Jeffrey Hastings.
Yeah.
African American gentleman?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, he was let go.
long time ago.
Yeah. He was like,
He didn't, yeah. I'm sure.
So they still have kennel license?
yes, ma'am.
200 now.
It's 200 now, but hopefully with these provisions, we're going to
Drop it down
drop it down to
200.
50. We're not going to regulate you guys, okay? We're relying on you to be the good citizen.
Okay.
Where we're going to come in is when we get a complaint.
Okay.
Okay?
So-
I'm next door to this kennel. There's the feces
Stench.
smell, stinks. There's excessive barking. I think that, then we're going to come out and check you out.
So there will still be, there is kennel license now?
Right
Yes.
now.
And there will be also after,
Absolutely.
So if I drive up to
but it's different.
your place,
It's different.
oh, is this on? Is this on?